Shout out Big Steve.
What's up? What's up? Early tease, UFC Vegas 98, Royval versus Taira. Let's keep the momentum going, right? While I have time, do 2 early teases back to back. It was a good one last week. So yeah, let's get to it, shall we? Jake Fagan, the boy. Let's get the paper. Let's get the paper indeed. But we're talking about money here. We're not talking about rolling paper. Like and subscribe. Right, so why waste any more time? Let's get straight into the quick little recap, and then we'll tackle this card from all the cards. Contender series. I've done some tape on contender series because I really wanted to get ahead the last 2 weeks. See if I can get as close to profit or profit. And yeah, we've got some good regionals too. So let's get into it, right? So contender series last week, right? I've got away with like 370 profit. It is what it is. It was the hardest card for betting for me personally. I had Jacoby Smith. I had no money lines, I should say. I had no pre-bets. So obviously I had to force something. It is what it is. I can't just sit through contender series with nothing. So, a few things I like. The under 1.5 being subliminal mention. I said there was a risk of the wrestling and being a tilting over, which he did. He was beating the crap out of Saviel. He went over just because, these wrestlers with no jiu-jitsu, they just, if they don't really pick their shots, if they don't know when to strike, they don't really get the finish. What I really did see last minute was Jacoby Smith by KO at Pick'em on Bet365. So I ended up parlaying that with Torres Finney. I thought Rami's path was a KO, and also, Finney was going to have a huge physicality and grapple upside. That was $1.44, just under minus 200. So I parlayed it with that. And then I parlayed the one bet that I got the closest in terms of hitting straight, which was David Martinez and Xavier Franklin. I thought it was going to be extremely competitive. I did not fall for the trap of playing Franklin. I was really close. But yeah, I thought, he doesn't do much. He doesn't do much at all. He's extremely low output. He's a good fighter. So, and I don't know how I felt about the over 2.5. He got really close to minus 200. So I just parlayed those three, Smith, KO, Finney, under 2.5, and David Martinez over 2.5. I won 300 and what did I win there? Actually, I forgot. I want to tell you exactly. I think I won half a unit. Yeah, I won half a unit, like tiny little poke. And then for the Alberto Montes versus Carlos Calderon, I played fight ends in round 2 sub. Right, I put $40 to win 152. Again, peanuts. I'm just playing around. It wasn't a strong card. I said to myself I will not be donating on anything. So just in case those pokes lost, it wouldn't have been a big loss. But that hit too, round 2 sub. Montes, both these guys were live for a sub. And Montes usually gets it in the second, and Calderon usually slows down in the second. So 372. Only regret is, look, if I just single hit all those plays, it would have been a bigger win, not even a unit win, but whatever. It's a profit on the card. It was hard to bet. I do regret passing on Nurzagai, the guy that won when he went to pick him. This was a card to fade the public. Franklin public was on the Franklin, public was on this Polish dude. I did say he was a bum. But yeah, I thought that the Kazakh was more fluid, but it is what it is. We're going to move on. We're not going to look too much. Not going to complain about things we didn't do well, but I'll take the profit. ACA, only had one bet, and this was a mammoth card, 23 fights or whatever it was. And I did a lot of them. I tried to get a lot of them, and that's the issue. You try not to burn out. You're looking for locks. The freaking Russian commentary and all these dudes fight the same. In the end, I stuck with Ramos versus Kokov. I really regret not playing Reznikov versus Kokov in that last fight. I thought it was completely washed. It was almost minus 200. Same price as Davi Ramos, actually. And he mauled him, 30-27 at Juice. So because I regretted that, I'm like, I'm going to play Ramos. I know it's juicy, but his Kokov guy is washed. You look at his career. I had a good read on him last time when I passed on fading him against Reznikov, and you look at his career and he's losing to everyone. He's losing to Sharikev. He's losing to this other dude. His only win is a really washed Hakan Diaz and an injury over Werner Galiev. Really really old Galiev. And I play it, and then I watch the fight, and Ramos just does nothing. Ends up losing a split decision. Had it on the feet rounds 2 and 3, and yeah, Lost round 1 because he got the takedown and then fell off the back and hunted for a heel hook. Yeah, just a really bad performance by Ramos. I get that he's 37 years old, but his fights against Ali Abdulakirov, a very good fight. He beat Rasul Magomedov. He knocked out Petua. All these dudes are better. And even when he fought Reznikov, the same guy that beat Kokov, it was a 5-rounder. He hurt him a bunch of times on the feet. So I thought he had the KO upside and everything. But yeah, shit happens. That kind of annoyed me because I lost a bit more money off my bet online. And I'm staying on $500 units because my bankroll is still not where it needs to be. So, not ideal to lose these bets and lose the money off my bankroll. But it is what it is. We move on to the UFC. And this is actually ONE FC. Nothing here. I tried to tape. I know a lot of the boys were on Buckhang. He got kind of robbed there. That's a shame. Feel for him. And we move on to the UFC where, this is what I was really relying on. I had Tisha Torres, which I gave on the early tease, and I had Lucindo at close to pick'em, which also I gave on the early tease, and honestly didn't have anything else new, right? Court McGee, when I had that impromptu last-minute podcast with the boy Dog and Chad, I said, everything kind of feels accurate. I'm kind of leaning Tim Means KO or Court McGee submission. Court McGee got it. I'm glad I talked myself out of Tim Means juice. Got it. Yeah, I think Tim Means should retire. Tisha Pennington, I didn't reduce. I kept it. I was going to play Carlos Praz's split decision as a hedge. I thought, man, I got to stick to the read. And that's a good example of barely any tape. Barely any tape. I retaped it later and I watched their first fight. And I'm like, Carla just doesn't have it in her to shoot these kind of double legs anymore that she did on Ultimate Fighter. And yeah, she looked awful. And Tisha, man, she was beating the crap out of her in round 1. Rushes in, gives up the takedown, lands some brutal up kicks as well. But I think it was more than 2 minutes of top time. And I was like, oh no, it should be damage versus control. But the judges, I think 2 minutes is way too long for the judges to be relying on judges to remember the damage that Tisha did. Round 2, she won. I thought clear, but then again, she rushes and gets taken down. I'm pulling my hair out. I'm like, man, you're just giving this freaking retiree a chance here. And then round 3 again, just landing a lot of calf kicks. Carla's like backing up and she's bouncing on it. Carla just kind of looked like to be phoning it in. And I was like, yeah, this is, And then when she hurt her with a calf kick, I'm like, okay, this should be clear. Of course, it's never without a sweat. Carla gets a takedown, gets into mount, throws some punches, and then, some noobs in the Discord are like, 2-1 Carla, and it's like just stressing me out for no reason. But the judges were on there. That was good. Ryan Spann, really regret this under 1.5. That hurt a lot. I think because I got burned against Goskov and OSB. I think I may have played the under against Shogun as well. But yeah. Cesar Almeida, Pateria, we talked about the over. I passed. So that's 2 back-to-back, but I was a lot more confident in the Spann under rather than Almeida. Hernandez Hubbard, I mentioned on the early tease, the line went from 180 all the way down to pick'em. I was like, will I regret this? And I guess I didn't. I didn't regret it. Alexander Hernandez seemed to be better for all 3 rounds, but still went to a split decision. The man can never be trusted at chalk. Lucinda, this is the other fight. I actually did reduce by $100 on Marina Rodriguez just because I had a bad feeling. My read was not as strong. I knew that Lucinda, likes to strike too much. It wasn't a fight where I thought she needs to get takedowns. Some people are saying you better pray she gets takedowns. I didn't feel like that. I thought it'd be competitive on the feet, and it kind of was, other than the fact that she got cracked in round 1. But obviously I wanted the takedowns. She got one in round 2, she got one in round 3, and then what's old mate Mark Goddard doing? Someone let me know. Someone let me know what Mark Goddard is doing. When have we ever seen a stand up from a chin to the eye? All right. You can use your knuckle, you can use your elbow. You're meant to be making the other fighter uncomfortable. It's a fight, right? But you can't put your chin in their eyeball, even though you're using head pressure. It's just retarded. It's just, if I lost that fight, and look, some people are saying robbery. I honestly thought Marina Rodriguez closed round 3 better than Lucindo, with the ground and pound and whatnot, and landed in a couple of shots when she got up. If I lost that fight, which I thought this was likely, Mark Goddard definitely would have made it on my next tilt zone. That's for sure. Because that I don't know what that decision was. But anyway, that's it. 2 bets, 2 pre-money line bets, and 2 hits. This is what I've been dreaming about for months. And I went big, 2 units, 3 units on one, 2 units on the other. It worked out. I was manifesting it. But then, I donated a little bit to Marina. So I lost like $200 live. No regrets. No regrets because I easily could have lost that split. And just to hedge. And then I put $150 on Khalil Roundtree live, when he was up. So I ended up on just $1,000 80. But then we'll keep going. Buckley couldn't get a read on this fight. Like I had some, I understood some people taking Wonderboy, in a striking fight, but ultimately felt with the grappling upside and the physicality on Buckley, I've been missing out on so much Thompson moneyline wins. I passed on Luque because of the issues I see with Wonderboy. I passed on the Trailblazer plus money, and again I passed on Buckley, and that's what happened in round 3 is why. I thought he's just live to get knocked out, and I was about to live bet Buckley as well, Wonderboy at Pick'em as well because he was competitive, but I thought Buckley came into it round 2 and Wonderboy also looked gassed. So, yeah, dodged the bullet there. Carla Harrison, I like the over. I mean, looked massive value. I just couldn't get past how could Vieira look on the bottom. And, she got instantly mounted in round 1. But, yeah, survived. Nothing on the leads at Holland. I mean, a little bit of regret there. Nothing on Jose Aldo Batista. Played out how I thought it would. Nothing on Pena Pennington. Again, I was adamant that there was no value in Pennington. I'm glad that played out, accurately. Bit of a robbery. It is what it is. But yeah, good bet on Pena because every time she took the takedown, she looked a massive favorite. So kind of played our pick'em. So and Pereira Khalil, yeah, I was close to donating to the under 2.5. Lucky there, and yeah, I bet $150 in Khalil when he was 2-0 up. I knew there was a risk of him slowing down, but I just had to poke it, I thought maybe you can get a knockout in round 3. And he was winning the first part of round 3 and then, lost. And then I couldn't really get out because Pereira's line was, he only spiked up to the best live option, halfway through round 3. And then he went back to being massive juice. So yeah, like 370 on Contender Series and then 500, over 1,000 on UFC and then lost 500 on ACA, so like 800. I'm almost 2 units for the weekend. It is what it is. It was tough. It was tough. It could still be better. My issue is definitely having a small bankroll, but we'll fix it. It's the growth period. Actually, let's get into it now, shall we? Jono, regionals where it's at, 100%, mate. My favorite promotion's coming up. So we'll talk about it. Tristan looked really good. He sure did, my friend. I think a lot of people fell for his old tape, 2 years ago. And then when he came back, we didn't really see much because he was fighting a wash bum. What's up, Mushroom? Smash the like. Yes, listen to Mushroom. Local man shakes. Thompson looked great value in hindsight despite getting knocked the fuck out. Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, I felt like it was slim margins. As I said, the whole pay-per-view card was slim margins. And it's a bit like that with pay-per-views. And then a lot of them end up losing, so it's like what does Wonderboy win look like? Like really competitive decision where he doesn't get knocked out and he just keeps getting up from takedowns. So, but each to their own. I'm not gonna shit on anyone's bets. All right, let me just whip up. Let me just tell the lads that I'm live. We'll start with Contender, right? We'll start with Contender. Alrighty. What do we got? And we've got a good boxing fight as well, actually. I'm really excited. I'll be talking about that. Berbatov, Beterbiev versus Bivol. Actually, not Berbatov. I have to do my tape, so I won't talk about it too much. But that's definitely I'll be betting on. I still regret. I had the best plus money play for AJ. Boxing has been good to me, but I missed out on that one. I just forgot to bet it. Alrighty. Sean Gauchi versus Anthony Drillich. Sick fight. So I've done a bit of tape for Contender Series. I usually don't. And yeah, well, great fight. Sean Gauchi, he's what do you call it? Hex champion at flyweight. He dropped down from bantamweight. And then Anthony Gauci is the eternal MMA flyweight champion in Australia, right? 28 versus 30, both 8-1. Gauci has beaten Steve Erceg back in the day, and Gauci doesn't really have, Drilic doesn't really have a signature win like that. So I think that's why he is, a decent sized dog. Gauci is hovering around minus 200. But when I taped it, really, really early, I was like, it's competitive pick'em fight. Both these guys are great grapplers. Both these guys have good hands and power, right? So I have to reevaluate. If ensure Gauci actually deserves this minus 200, or if that is mainly just because, that's because of the signature win that he has over Erceg, and it's just a wiki capped line. So I'll look into that right after the podcast. Actually, I'd like to get tackle that early line before he gets killed. But Islam Dulatov, Vanilto Antunes. I know Antunes, upset in LFA against Neto. Good power. Both these guys have power. Dulatov as well. He was meant to fight on the early contender series. And he lost his one fight ages ago to Palakaj, who's a decent German fighter. He's an octagon now. Lost a decision. But he's pretty much run through everyone else. So extremely volatile fight. Both these guys can land a knockout. So definitely wouldn't be parlaying Dulatov, especially on contender series. Obviously we'll look at some totals when it comes out. Mario Pinto, Lucas Camacho, looked into this one too. Not much tape on Camacho. Two LFA fights, he knocked them both out. I think he's a striker as well, just like Pinto. Pinto is more patient and cleaner, but he doesn't have any, amazing wins. Casimaras, he's a calf kicker. Again, I don't understand this favorite line. He beat Sehic, who's just a bum, a guard pulling heavyweight bum. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. Don't understand this line on two strikers. I will say Pinto has submitted. Where is he at? I think it's this Aldin Ben Halima. He's a dude that's in PFL, this African guy. He submitted him. He's meant to have a Sambo background. So Pinto obviously has like a well-rounded background. But this line is no thanks. Dogger pass for me again. Speaking of Dogger pass, Cody Steele versus Chase and Blair. I know Chase and Blair well. All right, I bet him a few times now in a row in his Cage Warriors fights. Cody Steele was meant to fight recently. Everyone was fading him against a Tony. I couldn't get to it, and unfortunately, I never got to find out if I was right or wrong. Just because the one a Tony lost against Lemos, who's a really good grappler on the Brazilian regional scene, he got ran through, he got mauled. Obviously, Cody Steele was going to come with the same game plan, so I couldn't do it. Actually, I think I might have been right because the Tony pulled out with some mental issues. So, if you're going in the octagon with mental issues, he was probably live to flake in there. Just saying. So, I think everyone got saved. And but now two good wrestlers, two hyped up guys. Chase and Blair kind of lost to Hassan Zada, who's a bit of a bum, even though he's in the UFC now, with that knee bar. And I think that might be driving this line. He also lost the decision to Craig in LFA, which was back and forth competitive. But I'm glad he had that fight. I'm glad I got to see his cardio. How he handles adversity. I definitely didn't think he lost that. I think he had more chance of getting a 30-27 than losing a 29-28. But anyway. And, Cody Steele has a lot more decisions, so we have more footage on him. So I have to go deeper, but I did tape it, and I just kind of felt, I get that Chase and Blair might have some value, but I just can't do it. I can't do it, so I might have to circle around and, decide, but something is stopping me at the moment. But yeah, that's where we're at. It's still a dog or pass for me. I don't really feel like... I've been saying it every single week, I'm not going to be playing much juice on Contender Series this season, and nothing's really tempted me. Mushroom with a really good, I shouldn't say really good, but with a statement. Steele starts slow and Blair slows down. Correct. Draw. Take it to the bank. Riding high. I have a couple of reads I need your help with on this card. Which ones are they, my friend? Are you talking about Contender Series or are you talking about UFC? Local man, the Hefner upset was big. You get in on it? No, I really can't do CFFC and Fury at the moment. I'm trying to focus on the UFC. That's where the reads are the strongest. I feel like I waste a lot of my time taping, these Australian American regionals, and they just piss me off. Tristan Dulatov is super dangerous. He sure is. Sekic is the GOAT. Tristan Lemos also beat Antunes. Correct. He's a very, as I said, he's a very good grappler on the Brazilian regional scene. And Antunes has been grappled before. I think that's why he was a big underdog to Neto. But I don't think there's that goes down well here because Dulatov doesn't grapple either. Riding high, UFC. All right, we'll talk about it soon. So the main event, Artem versus Islam Masferev. So I posted a little beautiful documentary on Artem. It's on my Twitter. Basically, the guy that beat Alexander Pereira, 2-vision, glory kickboxer, is transitioning to the UFC. Nothing you can really transitioning to the MMA. Pardon me. Nothing you can really take from his fights. 3 bums on MMA. In MMA, he got injured in one of them, so he's 2-1. Islam Masferev, another striker. I remember Pepe either faded him or played the over in PFL in that fight where that kickboxer just came out with hands low and got head kicked in 10 seconds. Pepe was losing his marbles, screaming fix and stuff. That guy just fights like that. He deserves his own page. This guy just fights like that. If you watch his fights, he comes out extremely lackadaisical in every single fight. But that was just hilarious. Anyway, Artem, massive favorite. I thought maybe some value, a striking fight between the two. One man's going to go down. But yeah, it's Artem, extremely durable. It's like trying to fade Pereira, in a striking fight. There's one decision fight for Islam, I should say. And I think it is actually on the tape index. Not a decision fight, but he goes to round 2 on Aries. And I didn't watch that. I just watched the last 2, and I'm like, oh, I know this guy from PFL. So I have to retape that, and he got a guillotine choke, so he's probably grappling in there, so that might be a path. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll be honest, this Contender Series card could actually be worse than last week. But then again, I had 3 bets that I could put in a parlay that all hit. So if there's something I want to parlay on this card, we'll see. We'll see. Early tease, right? We'll get there. But I actually taped it, so that's my early leans. All right. UFC. Clayton Carpenter, Lucas Rocha. All the way to minus 200 for Clayton Carpenter. I don't know if I agree about that. Lucas Rocha, 17-1. Decent fighter, really experienced. He's beat some good guys in LFA. Davy Bittencourt, really good fighter on Contender Series. He was getting grappled there. He was getting grappled by Mateus da Silva, so I get it. Carpenter's a grappler. He's also been dropped and knocked out before, so I get it. But to me, Carpenter's still a little bit green, so yeah, I have to look into it. It's a dog or pass for sure. Ain't no way I'm playing Carpenter at this line, but we'll see. Alrighty. Danny P. Is this Danny P, the boxer Danny P? Let me know, Danny P, if this is the boxer, the guy that bets boxing. Alrighty. Paying premium for Artem's victory over Alex. I mean, he's literally one of the best kickboxers in the world, so. Is he top 5 material? Impossible to know. We don't know anything about his ground game. Carpenter Mush. Could very well be. Danny P, Rocha, much better striker. Scrambles well. Correct. He's a scrappy dude. If you're going to bet these Brazilians with low IQ, at least got to make sure they're scrappy and they'll fight for your money, which Rocha is. He just has to make sure he doesn't get knocked out. Riding high. After rewatching Niko Morono, I really want to take D-Rod and Themba and other. Ugh. We'll get to it. We'll get to those, my friend. Spoiler alert, I don't think I like any of that chalk. But alrighty. Dan Argueta, Cody Haddon. Cody Haddon, my boy, just fought recently in Contender Series, and here he is in the UFC already against Dan Argueta before the season has even ended. Close to minus 200, I get it. But I think he's really good. I wrote down that he's scrappy. I really regret not playing him against BJ Bland when the public played Bland. It is what it is. Dan Argueta, he will be a lot of people's tough test in the UFC because he just wrestles so badly and aggressively, and he was mauling Matsumoto, and then he got tired. So, there's a chance that Haddon might have some issues with the wrestling. Obviously, he's from Australia, but he also goes for his own takedowns. He has good jiu-jitsu, so maybe Haddon sub. I would rather play chalk on Haddon than I would Dan Argueta personally. Danny, boxed most of my life, but don't think I'm that guy. I don't mean as a boxer, but like, are you the guy that bets boxing on Twitter? Do you have a boxing breakdown YouTube channel? Probably not, because it says Danny P UFC. Alrighty, let's move on. Chris Barnett, Junior Tafa. Wow. Well, what a epic, legendary fight. I'm not interested in this fight. I know this money line has moved. I get it. I mean, it's Chris Barnett, but F Junior Tafa, man, he's one of the biggest bums in the UFC. He might actually be on the level of Chris Barnett before anyone comes at me. Sure, his striking is better, but this guy's dreadful, man. This guy's dreadful cardio, dreadful get-ups. Yeah, never Samoans in the UFC. But yeah, if I was going to do anything, it would be the under 1.5, but the under 1.5 is worse than minus 200. I get it. Chris Barnett has 2 wins under 1.5, which is wild. When he wheel kicked the whole major Malante, and then also finished Jake Collier. I think it was under 1.5 too. So hey, anything's possible if he gets on top of a gas Tafa. But yeah, I'm not interested in this fight at the moment. Not even the under 1.5. But Tafa should run through him. He really should. Alrighty. Let's move on. What else we got? What the hell? What else we got? Niko Price, Themba, Gorimbo. So my boy Riding High asked me. No tape, but I still think that someone's going to knock out Gorimbo out in the UFC, right? It could be Niko Price. Niko Price, just washed, easy to take down. That's always been his issue, easy to hit. But, he still packs a punch. But obviously the UFC don't know what they're doing here. Maybe after tape, I will be more inclined to play the Gorimbo juice. Gorimbo's improved since he's coming to the UFC. But he's still that guy that got dropped and submitted by AJ Fletcher. So, he's been hurt a lot on the regional scene. So just be careful. Tread lightly when parlaying Gorimbo against a guy that hits like Niko Price. That's all I'll say. That is all I'll say. All right, much room, mate. That's not the same, Danny. Thanks for answering. Imagine Barnett falls on him and gets him out. Exactly. Just imagine. I'm actually rooting for it. I stand by Barnett. He's very alive. Yeah, he's actually doesn't seem that non-durable as well. Even though he has some KO losses. Alex Nicholson knocked him out cold with one elbow. A bunch of other Asians knocked him out in round 1 on road. Yeah, I mean, against Ben Rothwell and stuff, he just kind of got gassed, and Budai, who sucks at finishing, took him to a long, almost went to a decision. But who knows? We'll see. We will see. Riding high, roger that. But, as I said, roger that. No tape, but obviously I know both these guys well, So maybe after tape, I agree with you. Maybe after tape, I think Gorimbo can maul him. I mean, he's a favorite for a reason, but there's a puncher's chance with Price. Themba has KO power upside as well. Yeah, correct. I'm a bit surprised by that. Ever since he knocked out Pete Rodriguez, and he dropped Sato. Obviously, both guys could be chinny, but yeah, he's packing a punch more recently. Maybe the under. I think the under's plus money at the time of doing this podcast. Niko has slowed a bunch with all that. Correct, he's washed. All right, let's move on. What do we got? Jonathan Pearce, Pat Sabatini. So I actually, this is probably the only fight I've taped a bit. And, 2 or 3 fights in, I'm leaning Pearce. He's got the hardware edge. The cardio, the chin. I don't even say the better wrestling, personally. And yeah, but I do not see this not being competitive. If you're going to grapple Pat Sabatini for 3 rounds and not finish him, it's going to be competitive. Pat is not just going to lay on his back. He hunts for the legs. He inverts. He scrambles. Pearce, puts his head in guillotines, which, people saying he has great submission defense. But I said, man, eventually, if someone like Brito grabs his neck, and I literally said that on the podcast, he won't be able to do anything about it. And He tapped. So, and now he's lost to someone like, Onamo, people were calling a white belt. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely favor Pearce, but it's minus money, and I don't know. I actually did 3 fights of each, and I just moved on. Didn't want to waste any more of my time. I'm trying to get better with my time management. Didn't feel like a fight I was going to be interested in. Alrighty, let's move on. Let's move on to CJ Vergara versus Temirov. So I have 2 units on Temirov, $1.38. I didn't do any tape when I locked it in. I locked it in on a bookie that I have a bankroll with, so thank goodness. I wouldn't be donating blind on, let's say, Bet Online, where I'm down to peanuts. But after taping him, first time, I was like, wow, this is not what I expected. This Temirov guy is a wild man. He's a wild man, has some power, extremely explosive dude. Sure, he mixes in takedowns, but he's out there to brawl and get knockouts. And, he has a few losses where he kind of slows down and he gets out grappled and he's even been finished. Obviously, he was much younger. He was like 22. So I don't know how I feel about it now. I don't know how I feel about it. Maybe you lads can let me know. But, we know the CJ Vergara is going to come on strong. I remember that Asu Amubaya fight. Did well. Didn't get submitted. I thought that was live. He would get submitted. And, yeah, I mean, this Temirov, running through some random-ass Asians on Ryzen. Extremely aggressive guy. But I do feel like maybe Temirov can knock out CJ. I know CJ is very durable, but he was very close to getting knocked out by Lacerda. And, he has been dropped before. I think Clayton Rodriguez hurt him. Or he didn't, I'm lying, but he definitely had some damage there. Yeah, I mean, he's like, he can be killed. He can be killed. Vergara, we just haven't seen it. So maybe this Temirov guy just hits like an absolute truck. We'll see. What do the people think? Local man shakes fist. Since you got put out cold by Robbie, I'm always suspicious that price is on some kind of fix. Correct. And you know what? I had a thing to do. I had an idea to do some shows where I just roast random cappers, but I was like, nah, that's toxic. I woke up today and I thought I don't really hate anyone that much to make a 30-minute segment of roasting him and destroying him. But if anyone ever comes at me, then yes, I'll do it about them. But instead, I thought, why not do a show where I talk about all the fixes in the UFC? So maybe that's potential instead. But we'll talk about it. I think that might have been a fix potentially. Aussie fight fan Charmer, my friend. Riding high, also leading GSP. Getting son by Damon Jackson in 30 seconds up a bit unforgivable. Yep, I faded him there, and I've always been trying to fade this Damon Jackson and not Damon Jackson. Whatever, Sabatini. Temirov is such a beast, but CJ tough as shit. He sure is. Under is interesting. Do I like Temirov? I just said I have 2 units on him. I need Steve to give me permission to account dump on Taira. We'll get there. Matchmakers putting CJ through his paces. Yeah, they sure are. Tamirov looks shorter than he's listed. Tamirov is very, very explosive. No one Tamirov juice. Dogfather. Okay, so Dogfather agrees with me, but maybe I should get out of my 2-unit stake. That Pena decision was a fix. No, don't say that, mate. Dogfather's in here. He's going to get upset and leave the chat. Alrighty, let's move on. We have Chidi and Njokuani versus Jared Gooden. Well, what the hell do I say about this fight, right? Chidi just recently had that horrible fight against Reese McKee. It was a split decision. And I think this is still at welterweight, right? Still at welterweight. Let me have a look. Correct. So he's staying at that division where he's just completely draining himself. He's minus 200, right? Man. I hate Jared Gooden, right? As much as the next person. Other than Dan Levy, obviously. But I feel like you have to fade Chidi at minus 200 or close to minus 200. All right. There we go. That's the one that I'm going to be looking into first after this. Steve, you have to roast these cappers. Please upload that. No, I went through my list of who I would roast, and like there's some of them I respect. There's one guy I don't respect at all, and I would probably roast him on episode 1. But I just feel sorry for him. So, no, I'm not that much of a cunt. I'll leave it. A show about all fixed fights is bound to reignite some PTSD. We'll see. 6-round played Gooden. Gooden has a pulse, and he'll be there for 15 minutes. Well, he barely has a pulse. Gooden has big durability edge and has dog in him. Man, this could be a play right now. All right. Just Lose Baby, that guy. Well, I would rather go against Just Lose Baby on Wager Wars. We settle it like men, you know. And even if I lose, I still have bigger units, so I'll keep my head held high, you know. Rather than just going on here and just shitting on someone. Only if they deserve it. I'll do it if they deserve it. Alrighty. Let's get this over and done with, right? So I can lock in Jared Gooden for a max bet. Alright, Josh Fremd, Abdul, Razak, Alhassan. This is a funny fight because I feel like after old mate Cody Brundage ruined my under 1.5 at Pick'em, that looked insane value by being a pansy again, getting hit in the back of the head and quitting for the second time in his UFC career. I think they're punishing his best friend, Josh Fremd, and putting him in there with Al Razak. It's pretty funny. Pretty fun. The under is, again, plus money. I guess Josh Fremd is a bit longer and probably harder to hit, and is not going to be as rabies as Durden, as Brundage, and look to quit in there as much as possible. But yeah, if you're going to play Alhassan, it's the under 1.5. He can probably win a decision because Josh Fremd is so bad. Absolutely the worst. Can't believe he has 2 wins in the UFC. But yeah, it's a bit of a shit show fight. Can't really give an opinion without taping it. Daniel Rodriguez versus Alex Morono. You know me. You know my hate for washed welterweight fights. It seems like we have one every single week. So now we got Daniel Rodriguez minus 200 against Alex Morono. This has to be wide. One guy's 37, one guy's 34. One guy's lost to Joaquin Buckley, Santiago Ponzinibbio, Niko Price. Yeah, sure, that Niko Price fight looked bad, but he gassed out. There was a lot of grappling. Now he's in a striking fight with Daniel Rodriguez, and Daniel Rodriguez is minus 200. Right? Could it be because, Rodriguez kind of looked competitive against Kevin Gastelum? Sure. But, man, dog or pass for sure. Alex Morono might even knock him out in the first round. If even Machado Gary can knock you out. Daniel Rodriguez is definitely washed, and he's one of my favorites. I've been playing him in every single fight. Kevin Lee, beautiful plus money on that one. But yeah, dog or pass, clear dog or pass. I think Riding High asked me about it. Yeah, I don't know about minus 200 on Daniel Rodriguez. Even if you're considering it, like I consider Tim Means, just stop yourself and say he's washed, he's 37, and then you might save yourself like I saved myself against Court McGee. Jono, is Hefner in this chat or not? No, he's actually talking to me in Discord. I'm in his Discord, and it's just wild. Everyone is like him. It's crazy. But he's growing on me. Tristan thinks Razak's going to spark him in round 1. It's very likely. Abdul seems a bit crazy. he's wild, man. I wonder. He was saying he was really, really angry because of the whole allegations. And he wants to get his rage out on Brundage. I wonder how angry he is now after that win got taken away from him. I reckon that guy went home and beat the crap out of his kids, I reckon. All right, D-Rod striking seems better. I mean, yeah, everyone seems better technically than Morono, but Morono's outstruck a lot of people with this herky-jerky striking style. It's all based on the price performance, correct. Chidi under 1.5 plus money, correct. Dogfather, but as you said yourself, Gooden is durable, and I think Chidi's durable too. He usually flakes and gasses. Over 2.5, 65% seems value. Fading Morono, Gilly, or getting chinned again. Yeah, I think you're fading both these guys getting chinned, but we'll see. Yeah, D-Rod look durable. I mean, he is usually durable. That's why I feel like that Gary fight was also had a little tinge of fix in it, but not everything is fixed. But let's move on. Julia Polastri, Cory McKenna. Yeah, I mean this one, McKenna is just the worst. Let's be honest, he's the worst. He has no finishing upside, no danger to her game whatsoever. She's small. Even her jiu-jitsu, she's just kind of a grinder. But so yeah, it should be Julia Polastri or pass. For me personally, I mean, I laid the chalk on Knudsen, and Polastri kind of high rolled that decision. It looked a lot more competitive than it should have been. Still lost unanimous. But yeah, she's improving. I think Polastri herself is only 26. Yeah. But do you want to play women's juice, right? I talked about Tisha and Lucinda being high level women's MMA. This is low women's MMA. So, and Julia has made mistakes before. And Cory McKenna will proactively grapple for 3 rounds. She doesn't mind being boring. All right, let's move on. Grant Dawson versus Rafa Garcia. This one, man, crazy line on Dawson. And I just want to say, Rafa Garcia is not going to lay on his back for 3 rounds like Joe Selecki. He has power. Dawson's chinny. He does have cardio issues, but yeah, he's got no quit in him, man. His fight with Drakkar Klose was competitive. I remember I live bet Chris Grutzmarker against him. That was beautiful. After he almost knocked out Chris. Yeah, no way, man. No way. You would parlay Chris Dawson. A guy that was knocked out by a jab. But yeah, I mean, he's an elite backtaker. He's a dog. I get it. What's the under on that one? What's the under on that one? We'll see. Grant Dawson live bet, I guess, because the guy's going to come on strong in round 3. Even if it's juicy, why not? Even if it's like minus 200, why not? If it's 1-1 into the third, he's going to win it. I thought against Knudsen, she looked awesome in her debut. Yeah, I mean, I thought that was more Knudsen. Knudsen has good takedown defense, and she done stupid stuff and ended up on her back. Danny P, I remember who you are now. You're the guy that looks like Pepe. What happened to your profile pic, mate? What happened to your profile pic? I agree, Dogfather. Polastri has no bottom game. That's why we all laid Knudsen, but then, she looked... I guess the fight didn't play out like we wanted to. Under 2.5 is... Whoa, this plus money. I guess he correlates with Garcia because he's very durable and Dawson isn't. Alrighty. Where we at? Where the hell's my thing? Alrighty. Brad Tavares, Park. I taped this the first time and I didn't really have a play right before it got cancelled. I'll look into it. I guess I'll look into it last. Last week I taped OSP and span, and I was passing, and then when I retaped it, I really liked the submission and the under 2.5, 1.5. So I will definitely retape it at some point, maybe after the regionals, but yeah, it seems like Park usually covers against bums. He can maul and finish. Tavares has good takedown defense. He's not, completely washed, although he is trending towards washed. Yeah, I just can't lay this price on Park personally, but I can't really lay Tavares, even though he's a dog. All right, and we're into the main event. So Currently, I have 4.5 units on Tatsuro Taira. A little bit better than minus 200. This is what the people wanted. I just know Royval is an absolute bum. I know he can be taken down. He can be knocked down. It can be backpacked. I thought he stole a split decision against Rogério Bontorin. I bet him there because I thought maybe split was live, and Bontorin's a bit gassy. He gets dropped by Chanel. I actually bet him against Nicolau as well. Only small because I just trust him so little. And yeah, I think I parlayed Morono in like a little stupid parlay, and I think he's very likely to beat Morono. Morono looked like he had AIDS. Only took him down once in 5 rounds, even though he has horrible takedown defense. I think Taira, I like bet Taira a chalk after he lost round 1 to Perez, because some people are coming at me like, oh, what did you see? That's a lucky bet. Obviously I didn't see the injury coming, but after tape I decided that Taira's going to win that fight no matter what. And if a bit of adversity happens in round 1, and I get a better line than what was pre-bet, I would bet it. And that's what I did. And then, I was lucky enough for him to get a KO via injury right away. But yeah, basically this is Taira's fight to lose. How does Royval win? A little bit more volume. I haven't even taped it. This is like my Tisha Torres versus Carla Esparza. So yeah. I haven't even taped it. I'll go back and tape it. So we'll decide. So there you go. I finally agree with you riding high on one bet. So I'm not really feeling the other juice, but yeah. Tristan thinks Garcia KO. That could be very live, man. The guy hits. Put you at 401k on this over 2.5. Danny P. Polastri only out grappled by DWCS. No, she's actually been taken down by that Russian chick that was Brazilian chick that was in the UFC, and she actually got taken down on LFA. Sure, she didn't lose. Yeah, there we go, Dogfather, Karin Jafaria, correct. She didn't lose, but she routinely gives away easy takedowns, and she's kind of a slow starter too. Jake, this is exactly what I was hoping to hear. There you go. It was actually Jake, not riding high. My bad. No tape, by the way, just so you know. So don't. Maybe after tape I'll reduce. I didn't reduce Tisha Torres, but we'll see. Local man, got a bag on him too. Wondering who is driving the resistance on the Royval side. Well, I don't know if there's much resistance. I mean, line's coming down. Oh, pardon me. McKenna decent step down from Knudsen. I agree, but again, we could be overvaluing her in a loss. I agreed. I bet Perez in that fight was one back take. Correct. I'm glad we have someone in here that can show some accountability, because when Perez lost via injury, all the people that bet him were just losing the marbles. Like it's Taira's fault that, like it's the people that won their bets' fault that their fighter lost. But anyway. Royval training out of a garage with Alex Hernandez. Bullish. Perez is much, much better takedown than Royval takedown defense. I agree. I think Alex Perez was the toughest fight for Taira. He was lighting Taira up on the feet. He has power. Taira showed me that he has a good chin there. He showed me that he has composure. He has showed me that he has IQ. He didn't even bother grappling until round 2, maybe preserving his cardio. So I liked everything I see from Taira there. Will D-Rod use reach and jab like he just did with Gastelum and get robbed? I mean, if he does, he can probably light up Morono. So, yeah. One bet on Taira and one bet on Timurov. But Timurov, I'm like, I regret it, kind of. I might have to get out, but we'll see. I'll do deeper tape. And now we get into this beautiful, beautiful fight. All right. I have... Actually, let me share on here as well. Octagon, lads. We're in Octagon now. Bigger than ever. All right. That's what they say. It's in Germany. We've got an event in Germany, headlined by Christian Eckling and Jungwirth for the King of the Germany belt. All right. Interesting. All right. So Max Holzer, right? M. Trabelsi. Holzer's a beast. Right. We all love him. We all love him in the Discord. Cashed as a dog / pick'em against Cory Frey. Now he's just a massive favorite over everyone. So I know someone has already parlayed him. And let's move on. Niko Samsonite versus Daniel Torres. This is a good fight. High-level fight. They don't even have room for it on the main event, on the main card. That's how good the card is. So I have these odds on Bet365. So let's see what we have. Niko, decent sized favorite. I passed on Ronnie Paradise against Torres because I thought Torres had a chance, but he looked completely washed in there. So this is a similar price we're getting on Niko. Niko is good. Let me just see what he did in his career recently. What's he done recently? Hasn't done anything since losing to Keita. He's a decent enough fight. He actually lost to this Trabelsi guy that's fighting Holzer, but via injury though. Yeah, really well put together fighter. So I probably agree with him being a favorite. I'm not sure if there's any value on that, but we'll see. Lazar Tadoya versus Adam Palash. These guys already fought, actually. I just skipped a bunch of fights. My bad. Muhammad Macho versus James Hendon. Good fight. Hendon's slight dog. Interesting. Hendon's a beast. These are 2 grapplers. Very good fight, man. Very good fight. This is what our Cage Warriors should have been. Instead, they just became greedy and turned into bums. I feel like the Cage Warriors' demise has got something to do with the UFC. The UFC's completely dropped down in terms of quality, and I feel like because the UFC owns Cage Warriors, they're just trying to save money everywhere. So yeah, Machev lost to Duque. That's not a bullish look at all, right? As a huge favorite, now he's a slight favorite to Hending. Hending, I haven't really paid close attention to his career outside the Cage Warriors. I know he mauled Donal. I parlayed him. I should have gone massive there. I love the guy. I used to bet him years ago. Who did I bet him against? Paul McBain. Just all these bums, man, in Cage Warriors. I thought this guy was going to be in the UFC when he was like 20 years old. Anyway, that's a decent line, decent competitive line, and great fight. Great fight. Octagon, hard to get money down with no Bet365. Correct. I will decide whether I want to lose my Bet365 account by going big on this card. We'll see. We'll see how many locks are available. Danny P, didn't Taira gas and nearly get subbed in round 3 by Chavez? That was his toughest matchup. And, props to Chavez. Good fighter. But I don't know about nearly subbed, He gave up mount, but I don't think he would have got subbed by that guillotine. 6 rounds. I'm hearing Haddon is the side. He's plus money, so could be the side. Dogfather, Macho dropping down to 45. Yeah, that's his natural weight class. I think he was only at 55 for that tournament. Alrighty. Nafuka versus Topolage. Topolage. I agree with Dogfather. He's the GOAT. He, I bet him twice, back to back, as an underdog, decent sized underdog, and he's cashed 2 round ones back to back. Submission, anaconda choke, and 30-second KO. Right? Those were easy in hindsight. Well, I didn't actually expect that against Polus, but Polus, just bit of a nothing burger. But yeah, Robosavi is very hittable, very chinny. Nafuka now is a really good grappler, and got upset by my boy Predrag Bogdanovic, the Serbian, and then he beat another bum. So mostly bums on his record, and I kind of have to decide: can he extend Topolage, and can he gas him out, and can he submit him? Topolage is a good grappler too, but this is an interesting line. Now Topolage has gone from being an underdog because of 2 round 1 KOs to being the favorite over, a guy that could potentially grapple him, a really high level jiu-jitsu guy. And then if they're grappling, will he gas out? So, something to think about. Maybe Dogfather can give me an opinion without tape. Alrighty. Lazar versus Palash. As I said, these guys fought each other not that long ago either, too. And, Lazar just outstruck him for 3 rounds. And then Palash, since then, ended up losing to freaking Stuart Austin, the bum. So, so they've all pretty much had. He beat Safane, and then he lost to Stuart Austin, and now they're rematching. And Todoyev, I'm pretty sure. Oh, actually, no. Todoyev had 2 fights, and he just won another one, and now he's back. So, okay, yeah. But I guess the heavyweight division is really not that big. I mean, Lazar beat him the first time. I think Lazar got dropped, and then he won rounds 2 and 3 in a competitive striking fight. Adam is a good striker as well. He's come from KSW, I'm pretty sure. Let me have a look. Oh, no, he's come from ACA, my bad. And he's just, he's been knocking out dudes over there. But yeah, a little bit surprised by this line, I will say that. So Lazar beat him the first time, and now Lazar is the underdog. Maybe someone can fill me in. Dogfather, Nafuka is $2.15, plus 115. Dogfather. I remember Todoyev robbery over Moilev in shambles. Correct. I was on Lazar there. Don't think I want to retape that one. Absolute robbery in Germany. Nafuka, 6 round. Where are you getting Nafuka plus 130? Is it out on Bet Online already? Because it's much less on Bet365. Dogfather. Yeah, correct. I can't really get a good read on that fight. Pass. Alrighty. Dennis Ilbai versus Shek. Yeah, Ilbai is this little small beast of a striker. Packs a punch. Shek. Let me have a look. No idea who Shek is. He got knocked out by Langle in 2 minutes. A lot of knockout losses. Could be Chidi. Could be another setup fight for old mate Ilbai. He better be a grappler. Otherwise, Ilbai's going to run through him. Will Fury versus Langer. Langer's the worst. Just the worst. Will Fury now in Octagon. Looking juiced to the tits. decent sized favorite. He just mauled Daniel Schwartz. Did much better job than C did from UFC. UFC was dropped a bunch of times by Schwartz. But yeah, I mean, Fleury, decent sized favorite on Bet365, $1.38. It probably makes sense. Langer is, just the worst. Just the worst. All right, what do we got next? Max Koga, Anton Racic. This is a high-level fight. High-level fight. I thought Racic retired. He fought once in Octagon, one via injury to the toe, and then we haven't seen him since June last year. Obviously, 2 cancelled fights. He withdrew both times. So this guy might be getting a bit long in the tooth. 39 fights. He was a long-time champion in KSW. So he's probably over it a little bit, to be honest. Max Koga, this guy's like one of the better guys on the regionals. He's got wins over... he lost the split to Daniel Torres. Right, he has wins over... What's his name? Can't find him now. The guy that's in the UFC. No, whatever. Can't find him. Oh, John Aarons. I swear he beat John Aarons. Oh, well, Aarons knocked him out, but I swear he beat him as well. No, I'm mixing that up with the other German that fought Aarons twice. But yeah, Aarons sparked him, but he's a really good grappler, so this could be a back and forth grappling fight. Gun to my head, I'll probably play Koga. He seems less washed, but I haven't taped him in a while. Wow, $1.26 on Max Koga. Gigantic favorite. Well, I didn't expect that. He's lost to Valiev, he's lost to Palmer. Obviously, guys that grapple him. Rarely ever gets finished. I think Racic's path is just a grappling, grinding decision. But $1.26 is wild. Interesting. All right, Delita versus Mallory Martin. They already fought. Delita beat her. It's a title fight. Delita should beat her again. Maybe a parlay piece. I don't understand this rematch. Mallory Martin beat Shormova barely via split, and then Anita Beckis, my girl. Now she's getting another title shot. It is what it is. No interest. Patrick Kinsel versus Kareem. Kareem is actually a good fighter. This Turkish dude, 20-4. He's fought a lot of bums, and he's run through them. He's a good striker, great striker. I need to see what his grappling is like because obviously Kinsel is going to come on. He's an absolute ape. 5-rounder. We'll see. Obviously, Kinsel's a decent size favorite, just better than -200. So we'll see. What do we got for comments? Fury got them all. Koga is a rematch from Tristan. Ratic already choked Koga out before. So you're telling me that he already beat him and Koga lost to him and he's still a $1.26 favorite. Which is what, 80%? 75%? Wild, man. Look into that one. Kareem versus Kinsel banger, sure is. We'll dig deep. And Christian Eckling versus Christian Jungwirth. So I bet Eckling a juice against that bum, whatever his name is, Boris, in his retirement fight. And he just lit him up and ran through him in round 2. Jungwirth is a bit better, but he's also washed himself. He's lost his last 2 out of 3. He's, another ape. Massive ape. 37 years of age. He can win fights, but yeah. He's definitely allowed to get knocked out here. But I don't know if I feel comfortable playing juice on Eckling against someone that's a bit better than his last win. Right, Eckling. I need to get that guy's name. Yeah, Broj. Miroslav Broj. That Miroslav Broj guy's awful. And he's been out grappled before, lost to Leandro Silva. He tried to flake against this Denison Neves guy. Actually, he got finished with a body shot. And they overturned it to a no contest. All right, so it gives me some flaky vibes. And maybe this guy can bring it out of him. If you watch that KSW fight against Albert Odzikowski, that guy's awful. And he went to split against him. So I have my questions about this guy if he gets extended. And I think an ape like Jungwirth can extend him and make it sweaty. So we'll see. I'll have to dig deep, I guess. All right. Some disagreement in the chat. Apparently, Koga subbed him 11 years ago. Well, that makes sense then. Ban Tristan. We'll see. We'll give him another chance. Koga runs the red light district of Berlin. Dude is a top G. Well, that's good. I didn't know Berlin had red light district. I've been to the one in Amsterdam. I've also been to Berlin, but yeah. I wish someone told me there was one in Berlin. What do we got here? Now let's keep him around and cyberbully him. All right, that's it. That's all I got. I think that's all we have for regionals. You know, if it's CFFC or some rubbish, I don't want to talk about it. But yeah, Contender Series, some dogs, Octagon. We're going to do some digging. Huge bet on Taira with no tape. We'll see how we go. And I guess Gooden. Gooden is the first one I'm going to look into. So yeah, peace out. Like and subscribe. Thanks for listening. And yeah, leave a comment. Leave a comment on your favorite bet. Thank you very much.